another foundering car, and today we will discuss why it is of great importance that you have fun in a car. So a lot of people will put down spec lists, and then you can see which car has the most horsepower, most torque, least weight, if that's something that you want, highest top speed, best fuel consumption, and all those things are working in the real world oftentimes. But the thing is, if you buy a performance car, if you buy a hot hatch, your primary focus should be on something that is fun. Because oftentimes fun is what makes you happy. So, as an example, if a car sounds very nice and feels very nice, and another car has more horsepower, higher top speed, better fuel consumption, but does not have that nice feeling and smile-inducing factor, you will have a lot more fun, pleasure, and all the other good things in that car that does make you feel happy. It has that fun effect. It will put a smile from ear to you. So that's the importance factor that you would like to see. On the other hand, there are always other factors that are of importance, of course. Such factors could include benefits that you gain from them, so in a practical sense, storage compartments, etc, etc. So there's lots to be gained also on practical version, and which can also induce fun. For example, if you have a car that uses half the fuel for a similar amount of fun, you can bet that you will have more fun in that half the fuel type of car that has a similar type of fun. Why? Because the miles per gallon are so much, miles per liter are so much more in that type of car. And there is also something, if you have a luxurious car, for example, this is a Abarth 595C. So what you get is you have the ability to open a roof, that can induce a smile. You have full leather interior because it is Turismo. You have a good suspension which will deal with the bumps, will also deal with fast bends. So it's a very good compromise that gives you all the things that would make your life a lot better, especially because you also have a very nice exhaust system, in this case Record Monza, and next to that you have also a good strong engine, 1.4 liter turbo engine with 160 horsepower, which stage 1 tune 173 horsepower, and then about 310 newton meters of torque, which is a lot for a car that just weighs over 1,000 kilograms, and is also a soft top. You just heard Record Monza playing its song. So that's something that I want to engrave in your mind. Please not only look at the spec list, but also look at the smiles that it induces. The fun factor is of great importance, as you can relate to. Hope this helps. Foundering car out. Another foundering car, and today we will discuss the question: how much engine do you need to have fun? So there are some factors to consider. What is your definition of fun? Is it track use, or is that a high top speed? Is fun luxury, or is it something else? Because if you're just looking for fun, and that's driving fun, so to say, so not so much luxury but driving fun, then it depends on the following factors. First, First, the design of the car and the engine. Second, is it blown or not? So is there turbocharged, supercharged on top of it? And 3, the weight of the car. So let's begin with the last one. If your car has very little weight, you will be enjoying a small engine, because a small engine might be small, but if you compare it per kilograms, it still doesn't have a lot of weight to haul. So that's a great benefit. So the lighter the car, the smaller the engine can be, and because of the lighter car and smaller engine, you will also stay light overall, because the engine will not add a lot of weight. You don't have to have extremely big brakes and still are able to stop on a dime. And with the lightweight you also have a car that's enormously fun, because it's good to throw around the bends. That's also the thing that I mentioned. If you're looking for fun at top speed, there's a different criteria as you compare it to a car that is nice to drive, and for example track they use, you want a car that's very light so you can play around in the bends. And top speed is often not that big of a deal, because you will never reach it on a track. Most tracks at least. Nürburgring might be something else. There's a long straight at least, if that is open to you. But oftentimes the long straight is excluded, and then you will not reach your top speed anyway. That being said, top speed can be fun. If you're driving at an extremely high pace and you're covering miles, that could be nice. But in general, it's nice that a car has good acceleration, good road holding, good braking, and is able to do a lot of things that pricier sport cars normally would do. But it's able to do it itself, and that's a good thing, of course. The other thing to consider is the design of the car. If you have a car that's designed to be fun, sporty, for example a roadster with an open top and also a roof that can be a roof that is retractable, like a Mazda MX-5 or a Toyota MR2 or this Abarth 595C, this will add a lot of fun. If you're just looking at fun, and also oftentimes they have the traction to propel the car at the rear wheel, so they are rear wheel driven, and it also gives you the feeling that you're being pushed instead of being pulled as a front wheel drive car like this Abarth 595C that we are sitting in is doing. So this is a car that pulls because the engine is at the front, and also the traction, so putting the power of the engine to the ground, is also at the front. With a roadster, for example the Mazda MX-5 I mentioned, there's also an engine at the front, but then there is an axle that goes to the back, and there the rear wheels are being put the power on, and then it is pushing it, because the power comes from the back, it's pushing it, whereas if the power comes from the front, like a front wheel driver like this car, it will pull you. So that's the thing to consider. But also the design could be like more of a dedicated track tool, like an Exige, an Elise. Elise is also a roadster, but an Exige has a hard top, so it's even stiffer. And those type of cars, or an Integra type R, those are designed to perform very well, especially at a track. So even if the power figures are not telling you the story that they might be the best in class, they are, because they are developed for track use. You also have Megane RS, a Megane RS R, you have a Club Sport of Volkswagen, and those cars are quite dedicated to perform at track. Also you have the GT3 from Porsche, which is on paper a lot less powerful than the 911 Turbo, which is more of a top luxurious Grand Tour. Also doesn't have the turbo power, but it's still a better tool at track days, because it's extremely light and it is extremely track focused. So those are some things to consider. Another thing to consider is, of course, is your car blown or not? So is there a turbo or supercharged on top? Because if you have this figure, in the past the Japanese had this rule. I will explain it by this rule. So for every liter of turbo or supercharged car, they had to compete with a naturally aspirated, so no turbo or supercharged, so a car that's just sucking in air instead of being blown air in by the turbo supercharger. So for every 1 liter turbocharged supercharged car, you had to compete with cars with up to 1.7 times the displacement. So if you have a 1 liter turbocharged car, it had to go up to up to 1.7 liter naturally aspirated car. So if you just go a little bit ahead, if you're 2 liter turbocharged car, then you get to compete with cars with up to 3.4 liters of naturally aspirated goodness. So that gives you an indication that turbocharging, supercharging your car can result in a lot of gains in terms of horsepower and even more so in torque, which gives the car a lot more oomph. So it has a stronger and bigger engine than you might think if you only look at the displacement. So that's something to take into consideration as well. And the other thing with turbocharged cars specifically is that they are easy to tune, because you will not only optimize the engine management in case of detonation of fuel, but you can also increase the turbo pressure by this chip tuning type of deal. The other thing with a supercharged car, it's not that easy as a turbocharged car with chip tuning, but with a supercharged car you can just adjust the pulley. If you make the pulley a little bit smaller, then it makes more revolutions, and then you get also more pressure, so more air also into the engine, which helps a lot. Hope this helps. FUN car out. Oh, to answer the question, it depends on the weight. If you have a Gerade GTI of Daihatsu at a little bit over 100 horsepower, I think 110, 140 horsepower would weigh very little, so about 800 kilograms, and you have a very good hood to ride. On the other hand, if you're driving an Impreza or Golf GTI or Lancer, then a 2 liter displacement might be best for you. I have two cars, which is this little car, this Abarth with a 1.4 liter turbo, 160 horsepower, 173 with stage 1. Tune a 1.4 liter turbo engine there, which is the Suzuki Swift Sport Hybrids, which stock has 129 horsepower and with a stage 1 would be 170 horsepower. Of tunability, hope this helps. FUN car really out now. Bye bye.